Where we at with it, people? What's up?
Yo.
What it do?
Peace.
Welcome to Hip Hop Talks. Everybody knows who I am. I'm Coop.
Indeed. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Had a great time. Special thanks to Ari. Dinner was lovely.
Where did you go to dinner?
I went to this steakhouse up on this side of town. I'm not going to drop their name because I'm not into dropping location. But yeah, I went to a nice little steakhouse up here last night. It was
You went to Logan Steakhouse?
No, sir.
You
want to know?
That's dope, Coop. How many trips around the sun, sir?
43.
43. That's what's up.
Very blessed to be here.
So you actually the youngest. That's crazy.
Yeah. No. That makes sense because you niggas talk like grumpy old men a lot of the time, especially when you talk to each other. But that's neither here nor there. Welcome to Hip Hop Talks. Click like and subscribe to the page. And we're gonna kick it off. Unfortunately, I mean, this week was we lost a lot of people this week. Yeah. So we're gonna start. I guess hip hop is most closely related and associated with sports, and so Dikembe Mutombo lost, I believe, over 2 year fight with brain cancer this past week. What are our thoughts about Dikembe Mutombo, the basketball player and the philanthropist?
AG, you got it.
All right, I'll kick it off. This one, of course it wasn't expected, but it hit me hard, man. It was like, once I got the news, I was pretty much sad for most part of the day. Dikembe was a lot of my childhood and formative years, watching him as I was growing up, watching him patrol the paint. And, but even more so than that, you spoke to it a minute ago, Coop. He was a philanthropist, and he was just a joyful, jovial human being. Like, he always had a smile on his face, and he was a great ambassador for the game of basketball. He has one of our most celebrated moments or taunts in basketball history with the finger wave, and but he was just always good spirited, man. And I didn't know he was having a fight with brain cancer. Like, you would have never known it by all his public appearances, whether it be at the NBA All-Star games or whatever. He always had a smile on his face and was always he seemed like he brought a lot of joy wherever he was at. So I want to say rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo, man, one of the greatest centers ever to play the game of basketball. And, if we breaking it down to just defensively, he's definitely up there, man. So rest in peace to Dikembe. That one kind of hit me hard. I'm not going to lie.
No doubt.
Shawn,
yeah, man. You think about the prototype centers of the 80s and the 90s and, what their specific role was. He was that prototype. Defensive player, stop everything coming from them in the middle, stop the driving of the lanes, and no three-point shots. Didn't have to do a midi. Everything was in the post. Everything was right there. And he was one of those. The finger wag, right? That's what notorious for. When I think about that, I think about Jordan dunking on him and doing it back to him, right? Because not many people was able to do that. Not many athletes during that time, big men or whoever, got the best of him because he always protected the rim. He didn't care about, getting dunked on, or he didn't care about getting posterized. He protected the rim. He was, to me, maybe top 5 rim protectors of the league. Long arm width. He was the one that was able to actually stop everything from penetration for the hole, right? So for me, to AG's point, it kind of caught me off guard because we heard nothing about his health. There was no conversations around it. There was no news around it. It just happened. And they say he was battling for a couple of years now, and unfortunately, he succumbed to it. So again, we lost another legend. It's a shock for the NBA world. And I know that, one of the things that we always talk about is just every week we come in here, we talk about these things, right? And I don't think Dikembe received his flowers as much as he should have while he was here, right? Talk about him being in the pantheon of the big men of the NBA. And he's one of those prototypes, especially for a defensive player. He's one of those. Rest in peace, Dikembe.
Where would you all have him all time as a center?
He would probably be, for me, towards the bottom of 10, maybe 9 or 10, maybe just outside of that, maybe 11 off the top of my head.
I got him a little bit lower. Because when you think about the big man being a two-way player, he wasn't really known for his offensive prowess.
Correct.
He was like really the stopper. He was the rim protector. That was his job. His job was to protect the rim, and that's that. They didn't go to Dikembe for as a scoring threat.
Right.
So that alone, it pushes him down for me in that in that ranking group. I may have him closer between the 15 to 20 mark as big man, as a center.
That's fair. I think 11 or 12 would be good, maybe for me.
I think, if I may, gentlemen, are you done? Are you done? I think 11 to 15 is the ceiling in terms of his all-time ranking. I think 15 to 20 is more of the honest placement and objective placement because of some of the things that Shawn stated. But in his prime, Shawn, he was good for about 15 to 17 points a game, even with all those things, because of offensive rebounds. He had a little sometime hook shot that he had kind of came up with over time. Like he had done some things. Like in his prime, he was good for like 14 to 17 points. So he wasn't a total he wasn't a liability on offense totally. You know what I'm saying? Outside of like mobility, Defensively, as far as centers that I've seen, I think he is the second best defensive center I've seen other than Akeem Olajuwon. And I think that's what he should really hang his hat on, because outside of Akeem, and Akeem is different because Akeem's has certain abilities in terms of being able to guard different positions and just reaction time and foot speed and fundamental technique. You know what I'm saying? And that makes him a better defensive player than Dikembe, overall, all around. You know what I'm saying? But when I think of Mutombo, outside of Akeem, as far as the center is concerned, I can't think of a better defensive center that I've seen in my lifetime. And he was even according to people who knew him, a better person and philanthropist and giver to every community that he had been in. He did a lot of work when he was down here in Atlanta. I was talking to somebody who told me, they're he did the same thing when he was in Philly. It's so he had a reputation of wherever he was of just being a really, really kind, open heart, gentle soul, really giving back to the community type of character. And so we lost a good one. And somebody with a little bit more of a troubling history and polarizing relationship also passed this past week, and baseball's all-time hit leader, Pete Rose, died. Now, Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame. I just want to list off some of his accomplishments, if I may, right quick, before I let you guys kind of dive in about Pete Rose. 3 batting titles, 17 All-Star Game appearances, 1 MVP award, 1 World Series MVP award, 2 Gold Gloves, of course, all-time hits leader, 4,256 hits, 746 doubles, which is second all-time, 2,165 runs, which is 6th all-time, 5,752 total bases, which is still 9th all-time after all this time. I mean, there are not many people walking around with these numbers, especially when you think about the fact that he only had 160 home runs. How many guys that don't hit for power end up with these types of numbers? And so I think sometimes in the scandal we forget the special player. But Shawn, what say you?
You hit it on the head, man. You got to separate the scandal from the style, the technique, the skill. Pete Rose might be one of the best baseball players of all time that we actually clout because of what he's done. I saw a clip of him teaching how to hit and how to play the game, and I'm like, this guy, he knows his stuff. And of course, made a bad decision. You know, we all know what that is. But you cannot take away his skill, man. There's no reason why Pete Rose should not be in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose, in my opinion, honestly, if you're talking about pure baseball, I'm talking about pure baseball, hitting, having an IQ, knowing how to run the base, knowing the counts, all of those things. He might be in that top 20 percentile of those that played the game, period, because of everything that he's done for the game from a skill set.
Do you mean, hold on, when you say top, are you saying top 20 player or top 20 percentile?
Yeah,
those are two different things.
20 percentile. 20 percentile.
Oh, no. I think he's better than that.
He's a total body pause of a MLB player, of a Major League Baseball player, the total body. I'm talking about IQ. I'm talking about skill, everything that you can associate with how the game should be played. He's the one. He's the one. He's the prototype of what a Major League Baseball player should look like and also should play like from a skill perspective and from a mind perspective. That is my opinion.
AG?
Yeah, man, just kind of what Shawn was getting at. I mean, he deserves a place in the Hall. I grew up a Reds fan. Like when I was a kid, my favorite teams was the Reds and the Oakland A's. Those were my squads. And
How?
Just who I gravitated to. You know what I'm saying? Watching. Now, my grandfather, I used to watch baseball games with him all the time, and he was a Braves fan. Like his favorite player was David Justice. And but I was a Reds guy, I just gravitated, towards the Reds. And, I think, for all my life, I thought Pete Rose deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. Like Shawn said, he made a mistake. And, I think he was humbled by that mistake. And I think now that he's been laid to rest, I think that that they should go ahead and put him in the Hall. And it's kind of one of those situations where you don't give somebody their flowers when they can smell them, but still, and it'll be bittersweet. But at this point, I think they should just, concede and let him in the Hall, as he's laid to rest. I think that would be the right thing to do because, he's one of the greatest to ever play the game. He made a mistake, and I think it's a forgivable one, in the annals of the sports of baseball. So,
yeah.
I mean, Shawn, when you talk top 20 percentile, I think he might be a top 20 player, possibly, in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's like, oh no, he might be like top 2 or 3 percentile in terms of players. Like if you were going down a list of players all time, I don't think he would be in my top 10 objectively, but I could see him somewhere between 10 to 20. Definitely no lower than 25. There aren't 25 better baseball players all time than Pete Rose, in my opinion. So
right. And that's why I said 20 percentile, because it's so many different layers you can peel back for a baseball player. If you're looking for power, you got that power category.
Like if I'm putting a team together, like he's one of the first 2 or 3 or 4 players that I'm putting on my team. You know what I mean? Because the talent's going to get spread around. It's like, yeah, like I don't know if he's the first person I take, but he might be the second or the third.
No, I'm with that.
Yeah, I'm going to take like a Barry Bonds, Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, like type of player, like first. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take a pitcher second, but after that, I'm going to like take somebody like Pete Rose. So that's what I'm saying. This is like, as far as like position players, like non-pitchers, yeah, like top 20, 25. If you're including pitchers, he probably slides further back, but like definitely top 25.
I can see that. I'll struggle with it, but I can see your point.
We should do a HipHopTalks baseball players list. Like we should rank our top like 25 pitchers and top 25 players. Because I think like two separate things. Because pitching is like a totally different science. It's like what I'm saying. Like
it is.
Like when you pitch in baseball, it's like doing physics when everybody else is doing chemistry.
Yeah. It ain't easy.
Yeah, it's something different. Like it's something different because like you dealing with like you're at the center of it. You're dealing with everybody else. So like that's a totally different like science to me. But as far as like top 25 as far as position players in my opinion. Unfortunately, we're going with more posthumous news. John Amos, mostly known as James Evans on Good Times, passed away this past week, guys. So, they say it comes in threes, you know, feeling like it's just coming more and more every week, to be honest with you. Like, this is crazy. He's most notably known for his work on Good Times as James Evans, of course. He was on other syndicated shows like the Mary Tyler Moore Show. I mean, we all know him. He's done countless roles on like countless shows over the years, guys. I remember him on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when he was playing the dad to Nia Long's character. He's been all over TV, specifically like Black TV. He played Tommy's dad on Martin.
Yeah.
He's definitely been a part of our culture and a part of our life. What are our thoughts on his passing and like what it means? It feels like we're starting to lose a lot of those people that we grew up on, fellas.
Yeah, it's crazy because he passed away back in August, and we just got the news this week. His daughter even said that she got the news when we got the news, which is crazy.
That's wild.
I saw something where this bird put on Twitter, like saying, "Yo, I remember you were so happy when I gave you the power you." I'm like, yo, this is like, come on, have some decorum, right? It's just nasty work, but that's neither here nor there. One of the first Black fathers of cinema, of TV shows and sitcoms, right? When you think about the role that he played on Good Times, the stern father on Good Times, one who didn't play around, a strong father on Good Times. And unfortunately, they had some situations where his character died off because they couldn't reach an agreement on the contract and everything. But he was the first father, the first Black father, if I'm not mistaken, of sitcoms. And that character portrayed a very stern, strong Black man I think it was in Chicago, right? I think Good Times was based out of Chicago.
Based in Chicago.
Yeah.
And during a time when hard work with little money had to get the family through, and he played that part really well. And of course, he moved on to do other things in his career. Coming to America as Lisa's father, one of my favorite movies of all time. Playing the Beastmaster. I don't know if y'all remember the Beastmaster. The Beastmaster, and as a superhero, I love that movie actually. But just the range, man, just the range in his acting ability, being able to see him smile in Coming to America, as opposed to
Mr. McDowell and Coming to America, yeah,
right. Being in a role like that, man, being in a comedic role as opposed to being that stern father. I was scared of James.
Right. But it showed the range, Shawn. It showed that he had range. Yeah. Like, see him be James Evans and then see him be like the militant guy on Martin, but then also see him be Mr. McDowell on Coming to America. Right. Like he had great acting range. It's like, no, he could do drama, he could do comedy.
Yes.
He could do all the things. AG, what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, y'all said it all pretty much. Like, I grew up on Good Times. Like you said, we're losing all the heroes of our childhood, but by far my favorite role is Mr. McDowell, man. Like, especially the scene where he's going through, he's like, our buns, they have no seeds. Like, they have the Big Mac, we got the Big Mick. You know what I'm saying? In this biting culture where people steal your stuff and just tweak it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I've always found that, to be my favorite role of his. And, and ironically enough, we just lost James Earl Jones too. So, that, hit pretty hard all the way around the board. And, just rest in peace. And, I didn't, that news that Shawn just revealed about his daughter finding out when we found out, I didn't know that. So, that's something that has to hurt, prayers and condolences goes out to his daughter for real, because that's, I can't imagine that. You know, you finding out a month later about your father passing. That's kind of crazy. So
Crazy.
I mean, it's a little different out here, you know.
Yeah.
Any last words, gentlemen, before we slide over to the where we going? We're going to the vibes next.
Yeah, we gotta change the mood a little bit. It's a little somber in here right now.
Man, tighten it up, Coop. Like, yeah, get us back on some good vibes, man.
Yeah.
So, guess what? The vibes aren't getting any better.
Come on, man.
Because we have to talk about the fact that there is a whole documentary being done about Chris Brown and his domestic violence allegations against him.
Yeah.
Now, Shawn, like, explain something to me, because I'll admit I'm a little lost on this in terms of what does Charlemagne have to do with this, Shawn?
So, from my understanding, so they are doing this a documentary called "No Excuse for Abuse," and I believe Charlemagne is part of that. It comes out on October 27th, where it's like talking about the history of domestic violence, and this is Chris Brown's turn. So I believe this is something that Charlemagne is part of. They're doing a rundown on allegations, old and new, against Chris Brown on this documentary. And unfortunately, I guess Charlemagne's input is like he might be moderating it. He might be one of the voices on it or giving like a small portion of it or what have you. But I think that's his connection, because this is an actual series that they're doing, not just for Chris, but for others. And this, I guess, his turn. It's his turn. They're going to focus, of course, on the Rihanna situation, but they say they have new allegations out there. They have new people coming forward. I don't think Chris really cares about this too much, because I mean, hell, I saw where he actually just filled up an arena in Africa. They just sold out a concert in Africa. So he's still moving business. He's still taking pictures with people, like charging $1,000 to take a picture. So I don't know if this is going to help or hurt, not sure, but that's Charlemagne's, I guess, his attachment to this situation. Cool. We got some super chats. You guys want to get that? We got 3 strong super chats real quick. If you guys want to get that.
Man, no help on the birthday. This is ridiculous. All right. CJ the Kid. What up, CJ? Put a dub on it. Hey, hope you guys are doing well physically and mentally. Just wanted to say thanks for the positive feedback on the best I did. Coop, hope I didn't disappoint. Also, hope you guys like the Nas art I did. Bless you guys. Bless you too, CJ. We're going to have further commentary about your work soon. Don't worry about it. 007, Queens get the money. Happy late B-Day, Coop. What up, champ? I see you. White tablecloth. You know how we do. Always. Yeah. You already know what I did. Yep. Nice little something. All right, and then Bugs, what up? Bugs with the dub on it. Hope you had a great birthday, Coop. I did. I had a great birthday. Sending big hugs. Yeah, much love, Bugs.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I think about the Chris Brown thing. I think, it's a little ironic to me how this is happening when his star is burning the highest and the brightest that it's ever burned. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is officially like that guy in black R&B and contemporary adult music, correct? He's that guy right now, right? Like, this is his moment. He's like, he's sitting on the throne. It's funny how all of this is happening when he's sitting on the throne. Like, not to be funny, guys, but when the Rihanna thing happened, we were all in our 20s. We're all in our 40s now. That happened a very long time ago. So the fact that it's like it's so like now, like right now, there's a song on Life After Death. It's on this too. I believe you all know it well. It's called Player Hater. This just reeks of hate at the end of the day. Now, when I'm saying it reeks of hate at the end of the day, that's not to cast any aspersions if he has actually been physically violent and not defensive in terms of his actions. I'm not excusing those. I'm just questioning the timing of the inquiry and the expose of it. It just seems a little odd to me that it's happening now, because the reality of the matter is that, well, if he's going to be a part of this and you're really taking domestic violence serious, this is something that actually shouldn't have taken this long for you to come up with it. That's why I'm bringing up the fact that we were in our 20s when the Rihanna thing happened. It's like, well, if you're going to use the Rihanna thing, it's like, well, I could just tell you, like, well, people change. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
People also get help. You know what I'm saying? People develop. Like, nobody stays like necessarily in the same form. Some people do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how valid are these assertions? Like, are you using Chris Brown to sell this documentary? Quite frankly, because what if it's a 3-hour documentary and you're talking about Chris Brown for like 15 to 20 minutes, but that's what you've used to sensationalize the documentary and make it seem like damn near like it's like Chris Brown, like Shawn, the way that they got fed to me from you. And I'm not saying this like in any sort of way. I'm just saying journalistically, like the way the information that you gave me, it damn near looked like the documentary was just about him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess that's the tagline. There's no excuse for abuse. And I think it's episode number 2, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's episode number 2.
Yeah. It just, it just had that type of uncomfortable vibe to it. We're gonna do a couple of super chats and slide to the next vibe. Tracy G with the $5 super chat. Chris Brown will be okay. He has already did his own documentary where he discussed the Riri-ish and was honest. Okay. Mad Max with the $9.99 super chat. What up, Mad Max? LOL, no excuse for abuse. Ain't Riri hit him first? CT the devil got some nerve. His allegations about the girl in the army base should shut all of. He was on the R. Kelly joint too. How?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's the last person that's been doing anything. Yeah.
There's nothing like a Mad Max rant. You
know,
no,
I agree with Mad Max on that. He's the last person that should be doing anything like this. Almost on real, like real talk.
That was part of my inquiry. It's like, you're the one that's doing this. Like, are we okay? If you say so. If you say so, my G. Like only if you say so, though. You know what I'm saying? So, I've often made issue with a certain artist's lateness, but it feels like her lateness and some other things have caught up to her, quite frankly, guys. Pras is suing Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
And he is suing her for fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, breach of contract, breach of accounting, non-compliance, and is also making accusations of fictitious expenses being created, and also her taking a portion of the budget that she was also in control of and then canceling the tour due to vocal strain. So he is seeking an unspecified amount of damages. AG, I'm going to kick it to you. What say you about Lauryn Hill being sued by her own bandmate?
Lauryn better be careful, man. Pras get the feds after her, man.
That's crazy.
You know they watching. You know they watching it.
Right.
But yeah, when they first announced that they was doing the reunion tour, I knew it was going to be doomed from the start, for better or for worse. All the stuff that's alleged against Lauryn that Pras is suing for. Can I see Lauryn doing that stuff? Absolutely. Especially the ridiculous requests and expenses and all that stuff. And what I mean? I can see it, but but let's be real. He's trying to recoup these damages. But far as a reunion tour, who needed it more than Pras?
Right.
So, I'm not mad that he's mad that his money got messed up, with this tour, because he needed more than Wyclef or Lauryn did. So, I kind of knew this would happen one way or another, so I'm just interested to see how it pans out. But yeah,
Yo, that is crazy.
Shawn, you know, AG is petty. Petty. We should just start titling segments "Petty Thoughts" by AG.
Yeah,
I don't know what I said wrong.
Like, it was all right. That's the crazy thing. If I'm the judge and Pras come before me with this case, I'm looking at him like, what? Like, you serious? Like, you just gave up some information on the Chinese Connect. What are we talking about here? Like, nah, man, Pras is broke.
Pras go to tell.
He's a tattletale. Like, he's a tattletale. Man, look, man. Pras hasn't been relevant since Ghetto Superstar. And he got outshined on Ghetto Superstar even then. So he doesn't have any money. And he needed this. He needed this reunion tour. He needed this opportunity to put some ducks in his pocket. Unfortunately, this is another group that we're seeing disbanded because of because of internal turmoil. And Lauryn, she doesn't care. Her lawyers say they're going to defend this. She says that, like what she said on the Nas joint, I'm trying to save souls. You talking about so I thought it was bullshit, but she said it.
That was a hard bar. You know what I'm saying? It was a hard bar, but yeah, she ain't getting the pass still yet.
Get a pass for that. You can get a pass for that. But nah, in all honesty, he's suing her for breach of contract because they had to cancel a lot of tour dates and eventually cancel the entire tour. Which I think he probably been like, yo, I need this money right now. And then she's like, yo, I'm good. And Wycliffe like, I'm good. So now Pras is on the outside looking in. And it's unfortunate. Per usual. Yeah, per usual. Per usual. But nah, man. Coop, if I'm the judge, I'm looking at Pras like, yo, my dude, like, really? We still got some stuff on your head right now. You want to do this? He shouldn't even want to be inside of a courtroom talking about right. Stay away from all of that. But it's some girl behavior, man. I don't like that nasty work.
I think Pras is broken. He's an informant, guys. Next subject.
What more can you say? It's an informant.
Right.
You put a bow on that, Coop.
All right. Glad we got that out the way. So speaking of some more lawsuits, like, you want to know what the vibes on the first part of this show? It's like, man, we got to get to some better shit than this. This is ridiculous. The St. Lunatics are suing Nelly. Shawn, I'm gonna kick it to you because it's like apparently the thing to do now is sue niggas. Can't even steal on a nigga. Motherfuckers a sue. Jay was right. He was right.
Bro, another group disbanded, the St. Lunatics. I don't think we care that the St. Lunatics are being disbanded. I mean, I don't think we.
You call me petty. You call me petty, Coop.
I'm just saying, you make me feel comfortable to speak my mind now. I was trying to be diplomatic, so now I feel comfortable. So thank you for that. I feel comfortable.
Like when we do the VH1 behind the music, this is going to end up being the petty show. Be like, yeah, remember the petty show?
Like, listen, who's checking for what is that? Murphy Lee and who are the other guys? Like, I don't even know their names.
Ali,
Murphy Lee. They had one of the wackest eras saying dirty and dir. Look, man, cool. They're suing him for $50 million for the country
50? They want a 50 piece.
They want 50 piece for Country Grammar. Country Grammar went diamond. So I guess the estimation was they're owed that because they contributed so much to Country Grammar. And that they said Nelly had promised
$50 million worth.
50 million smacks. I don't think they're worth 50 million.
Man.
I think they're worth 50,000. To be quite honest.
Out here to smack you for $50, 50 million.
Yes, 50 mil. And they trash. And I'm not man. I'm glad that they don't even have anything going on. I'm glad that this is a group that broke up. I don't want to see food just messed up, but I'm glad that this group is
AG. We just can't continue to let Shawn talk at this point. AG.
My bad. Thank you, AG.
Like I don't know, man. I hate to say that Shawn was right.
Okay, segment over. Next segment. Okay, all right. Let's slide. It's time to get out of here.
Yo, man. You'll throw, I mean, I'm sure one of them will throw the case out for Ashanti. Like, like
know, we really want to know what? We really got to get to the point. You know.
My bad, Coop. But look how goofy they look.
Shawn ain't gonna be allowed to St. Louis. Don't go to St. Louis, Shawn.
This is why I'm calling it the Petty Show. Are you watching this? We got AG. I already told you.
My bad.
We got to get control of the boards from this nigga.
Oh, bad, man. He's doing this. He's doing this on a picture.
I've already said this. Like how many times? Do we have an HR department? Is Taj HR technically? Like what the fuck?
That's the wrong HR person.
What kind of team is this? You want to know what? We're gonna have to talk about the structure.
My bad.
Man,
what's the dude's name with the mask? I forgot it. What's his name?
I don't know.
I ain't trying to be funny.
I don't know. Mask Man? I don't know. Like, I don't even know.
He didn't ever rap, did he?
No. He makes it hard to do a show.
He just yeah. He just did.
Okay, so Jermaine.
So if they win, I gotta ask. If they win the 50, how much of a cut does dude with the mask get? That's what I want to know.
$10.
Like what cut does he get?
$10.
Like $100,000 in a 24-pack of Heineken, nigga. Like I don't.
All right.
What do I look like? You know what I'm saying?
This is crazy. I'm sorry, Cool.
Go ahead.
Atlanta's own Jermaine Dupri says that the now infamous R. Kelly put the R in R&B. Do you mind if I kick it off on this one, guys? Do you mind?
Sure.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
You know, here in this podcast world for some years now, I have often referred to R. Kelly as a nasty bastard.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And he might very well be that. But if we're just talking about the music, I do understand what Jermaine Dupri is saying in a lot of ways, because you have to understand that Michael Jackson and Prince, relatively early on in their solo careers, started making music that transitioned just your traditional black radio and black crowd. Like When Doves Cry might get played in R&B circles, but it's not your typical R&B record, and neither is Billie Jean. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And so if we're talking about traditional rhythm and blues, like, you know, Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, Aretha Franklin, you know, if we're talking about what rhythm and blues is and represents, it's like, yeah, like I don't consider him to be on a Prince or Michael Jackson or Stevie Wonder or Marvin Gaye level. Like I don't think he's on that level, but I do believe at the very next level below that, he is the first person at that level. You know what I'm saying? And if you told me that and some people feel like he's on that level musically, well, if you actually want to include like all the stuff that he's written for other people, it's like, well, shit, I really can't argue with you.
Right.
So he's like that. So Jermaine Dupri's not wrong. I think even with myself, we need to learn to separate the man from the music. You know, the music is fucking fire. As far as male R&B solo albums are concerned, he has a better solo catalog, in my opinion, than Chris Brown and Usher combined. Like his solo catalog, in my opinion, is better. If you put their two catalogs together, you would have his catalog. And that's saying a lot in this era, especially with how the machine works. And by works, I mean it doesn't fucking work. So, those are my thoughts. AG?
Yeah, Coop. I think you're right in the sentiment of the whole thing. You know, stellar discography he has, and the main point that you hit was the songs that he wrote for other for other artists. His pen was, phenomenal. But I do think to a degree, the reason why it's, in his case in particular, if we're taking this on a case by case basis, it's hard to separate the music from the man, because a lot of the time when, an artist is writing their music, they have a certain muse. And for me personally, when I go back, if I do hear R. Kelly song, it's not like I'm, going back playing his records, but when I do hear one of those songs, for me, it's hard to listen to, because my brain automatically resorts to, who was he talking about when he made this record? Like, was it a, very young underage girl versus, when I was coming up listen to it, I thought he was talking about a woman. So in that way, for me, it's hard to listen to and separate the man and the music and the art, you know what I mean? Because there's going to be like a gray area there where you're, wondering about the muse to, create certain records. But nah, for like his pen game and, all the hits that he had, like I would argue that too, that nasty stuff aside, yeah, he has a better discography than Usher and Chris Brown. I do agree with that, Coop.
Yeah, they don't have a 12 play.
No. And, that's just not 12 play. I mean, the double album was fire. Chocolate Factory, you know what I'm saying? TP2.com. I mean, he got
the R album. They got
Yeah.
Half on Baby and like When a Woman's Fed Up and like all that. Yeah. He's got hold on. Yeah. The R. Kelly album, they got You Remind Me of Something and Down Low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But mentally, I have a hard time separating. Like I said, when I hear certain records, you can't really sing along to them with the fervor that you used to, because who was he talking about on them records?
The more people I talk to, AG, though, the more I hear, things about social media has changed everything, AG. Like, if you think he's the only guy, it's like, Puff might be sitting in a cell right now, my nigga, but it's like, like he's sitting in a cell and a whole lot of other people. No,
there's a lot of nasty guys out there, man.
Yeah, that's and let's not act like it's just this generation. No, this has been a cycle that goes on within music. You know what I'm saying? So this is more. I'm starting to realize that R. Kelly is really more of a poster child on the music industry getting exposed for its practices.
No doubt.
That's how I'm starting to look at it. It's like he's not he's not blameless for his actions, especially a lot of the emotional and psychological abuse.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're dealing with impressionable minds, But if we're talking about like behavior, like let's not act like it's not uncommon. It is.
No, it is. Unfortunate.
Shawn, what are your closing thoughts?
Shout out to Mace. I saw Mace in the chat. Shout out to Mace. Mace been on fire lately in some of his takes. Mace been on In Fuego lately. So shout out to Mace, man, from Round Table. You doing your thing out there, kid. Real talk, like respect. But nah, to R. Kelly, look, man, can you separate the sin from the talent, from the music? That's why I go with mine. Have I listened to any R. Kelly joints in a while? It's been a while. I'll be completely honest with you guys. TP2 was one of my favorite joints. TP2 came out 2000. I think I was 20. I was peaking. Yeah. I was peaking at that time. My whiz, they talked nasty to my whiz back then. I was 20 years old. So TP2 had a lot to do with that.
Please.
Real talk. Like,
nobody asked you that. Nobody asked you that.
I'm sharing. I'm bearing my soul here. But TP2 has no skips at all. It's one of those, right? He has a couple of joints, and that's just is transitional.
He got like 4 or 5 of those. That's what I'm saying. He's got like 4 or 5 of those.
A lot of those. A lot of those.
The TP3, like the Reloaded joint, that shit was pretty dope too.
It was.
Yes. He lost it when he started getting like step stuff, because I don't do that step in the name of love stuff. I think that was me personally. I know I get killed for this, but I thought it was corny. I'm be honest with you.
That had the whole show on fire though, man. Like that was
It did.
Chocolate Factory is a banger, my nigga. Chocolate Factory might be better than TP2 if you really, especially if we're talking songwriting. If we're talking songwriting, it is blowing fucking TP2. Like,
I mean, let's talk about like the controversy surrounding him was at an all-time high during the release of Chocolate Factory, and people just swept it under the rug because the music was so fire. You know,
it was, but it's not TP2.
Cool.
You know how TP2 started off?
Classic shit.
Hit, man. You can't, bro. Listen.
And to my point, the song on TP2, "The Greatest Sex," that's one of his best songs ever. Yes. But yes. I can't listen to it with the same ears because I don't know, like, who and what he talking about. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't have to be you though.
Like, how about this? When Jermaine Dupri,
you got to draw the line somewhere, bro.
Like,
you're right.
Like, Chocolate Factory might be R. Kelly's most soulful album.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it hits different. Like, it's coming from a different place. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had really never, like, some of those songs that he made, they weren't like your typical R. Kelly songs. You know what I'm saying? He like tapped into something different, you know?
Yeah.
Like he, you know, in a lot of ways, I feel like it's like, right. I don't know if it's his best album. I think 12 Play is still his best album because it's just like literally every song on there is a classic R&B record.
Prototypical.
Time and all the time. Right? Yeah. But as far as like his pen game on Chocolate Factory, that might be his best pen moment as far as his solo projects. You know what I'm saying? If we're just talking about like the writing.
I can agree with you in that part of it. But TP2 aesthetically, sonically.
Beats on TP2 might be better. Yeah. The production. You want to say the production on TP2 is better? Like, I can maybe get with that. But Chocolate Factory is a vibe. Yeah.
The Chocolate Factory had Feel on Your Booty on it? That wasn't Chocolate Factory, right?
No, that's TP.
That's TP2.
TP2 got Feeling on Your Booty.
All day, yeah.
You want to know what? I think I like the Feeling on Your Booty remix as much as Feeling on Your Booty.
Yeah.
I like the remix.
Change the topic.
I'm definitely getting out of here. Right. I don't even want to get right. Now I'm afraid. I totally opened up the conversation. We made talking about R. Kelly on this show comfortable again, which makes me uncomfortable again.
Right.
We're gonna go
I wish some more. Right. I wish it was on TP2.
You know what? This has been almost an hour of bad news. Derrick Rose is retiring. Been almost an hour of bad news. Where the fuck, man? Who did this lineup? I want to talk to human resources when this show is done.
Oh, shout out to Taj. Super chat, Scoop. We got a lot of them. They're showing love, man.
CJ the Kid with the $5 super chat. Damn, I meant to say, beat I sent you guys. Autocorrect problems. I dig it. Also, apparently a company made and is selling a BBL Drizzy costume. It was in the Discord. That's nasty work. That's nasty work that I'm going to let Shawn and AG handle, quite frankly. Tracy G with the $20 super chat. Question. Listening to a pod point made the reason Drake comes with music yearly is because he can due to talent. Doc can't do music every year because the masses will see quickly he's not as talented as Drake. Thoughts? Oh, she's pretty much saying that Drake has more in the well than Kendrick does. It takes Kendrick longer to create because his creative well is not as deep as Drake's. What are your sentiments?
I mean, Drake can cook up easier and faster than, one could argue Drake is not making the music that stick to your ribs. It's like fast food versus like a home cooked meal that takes longer to prepare. But Kendrick proved in the battle, that he could cook up quickly if he needed to. So,
Shawn?
I agree. Well said, man.
I think the most important part of the battle for Kendrick was actually the part that he showed that he could cook up fast.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That was the big W for him in the battle.
Yeah, he was being antagonized that he couldn't do that.
Correct.
And he answered the call. He answered the call.
No. Question a gap in the skill set. No. He's like, that's not a gap. It's not a problem. Mm-hmm. Good for him. Mad Max with the $9.99 super chat. R. Kelly, the king of R&B, and he has no peers, and he is on Marvin Gaye level. And Kel's better than Prince now. MJ is overkill. Believe I Can Fly was my graduation anthem, all 5 of them, right? Mad Max, do you mean like all 5 years you tried to graduate and failed until you finally graduated? Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean?
What?
Me and Mad Max are gonna do like addiction and like writing class on the super chats. We're gonna start editing Mad Max super chats. No, it needs to be educated. No, Mad Max can still learn. Okay, you never love. I learned something new every.
You say he needs to graduate a 6th time? Is that what you're saying?
Oh man, these are our people. What are we doing?
No, Mad Max is kind of stubborn. It might be 7. We might probably have to do a couple turns before we get.
Yo, shout out to Mad Max. The Queens get the money.
Man, is Mad Max from Queens? I thought he's from Long Island.
So
Shawn don't be knowing.
Get the money. You just want to say
Shawn don't be knowing.
CJ the Kid. Yo, we're done with you. CJ the Kid with a $2 super chat. What is R. Kelly's best album, or top 3 at least? Quick top 3. Can I get a quick top 3 from you guys before we get to the next segment?
I think we talked about him. 12 play, TP2, and Chocolate Factory. I think that sums it up.
Yeah. 12
I can deal with that top 3. I can deal with that top 3. Mad Max with the $1.99 super chat. First 10 parts of Trapped in the Closet are classic. No, they're not. That's ridiculous.
Man, it was like 30 of them joints, wasn't it?
It was a lot.
Like
when the movie came out, the closet,
he's making Trapped in the Closets right now. CJ the Kid with the
Trapped in the cell, I think.
You think that midget there too?
CJ the Kid with the $2 super chat. Coop, what is the Illmatic of R&B? 12 play? Oh,
Damn. That's a good one, CJ.
That is. I mean, I think for most of us, I don't know if we're talking R&B from a solo artist. I mean, 12 play for modern day times, like is in the conversation. If we're just talking like an R&B album in general, like when I think of R&B, like in terms of like, before me, I think of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. I think of Stevie Wonder on Intervisions and Songs in the Key of Life. But yeah, 12 play would be up there, depending on how you would classify Purple Rain and Thriller.
Can I say something real quick? For me, I always paralleled Off the Wall to Illmatic, and It Was Written to Thriller as far as their career outlook.
I can see Off the Wall's disco-ish, but you could say that's R&B too. Yeah.
I mean, just the sentiment of like, okay, I put out a classic, but accolades wise, it's not doing what I thought it would do. So I'm going back to the drawing board, and I'm gonna come back bigger and better and knock it out of the park this time. And Thriller would be It Was Written in that equation. I've always paralleled those for me.
I dig it.
I like that.
So to keep raining on this parade that is Hip Hop Talks today, Derrick Rose retired from the NBA.
Yeah.
He is the youngest MVP at 22 years old in league history.
Amazing.
Is he a first ballot Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
Sadly, I don't think he's getting into the Hall of Fame. And I'm not sure. He might become the first NBA player who is an NBA MVP to not get in the Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken. Because if I'm not mistaken, everybody who's won MVP in the NBA is in the Hall of Fame.
But shouldn't that be a buy-in alone? Because it's not just a regular MVP, like you said. It's a record. The youngest to do it. So that in itself should be a buy-in.
Okay, so how about this? What if I told you that, like, for a season or maybe 2, Derrick Rose was one of the 2 or 3 best players in the year? But I could also tell you that about Grant Hill.
Absolutely.
Even though Grant Hill doesn't have an MVP award. I could tell you the same thing about Anthony Penny Hardaway, even though he doesn't have an MVP award. And if you actually look at their careers, Grant Hill and Penny had better careers than Derrick Rose. Are they in the Hall of Fame?
No.
No.
So that MVP shouldn't necessarily be a buy-in because he didn't even prove himself. Like, and I'm talking about guys who had injuries and multiples that were comparable to his injury and multiples that threatened their careers and took the arch of their career down too. Like,
Bingo.
Their spear, like Penny was looking like the next Magic Johnson, and Grant Hill was looking like LeBron before LeBron in a lot of ways in terms of a guy that was going to go get you 27, 8, and 8 every night.
1,000%.
So when we're saying that he's a Hall of Famer, it's like, well, hold on. We've had other great players with injuries, even though they haven't had MVP awards. Like they have, like Derrick Rose is a 3-time All-Star. Anthony Hardaway and Grant Hill have more All-Star appearances than him.
Right.
They both, too, just like him, have made first-team All-NBA before. Both of them. So I think we just need to be fair and that MVP might have been a little bit more lightning in a bottle, and unfortunately, injuries are part of what comes with the game.
When you play for Tibbs.
I'm not even touching that. Shawn, you're the supposed ball player.
I am.
Of the crew.
Yes. So I'll begin it with this: a quantifiable fact. Grant Hill is in the Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 2018, actually.
That's college and pro though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
I'm just speaking quantifiable facts here.
I
want to know what. I can't
wait. I didn't know he was inducted. I didn't know Grant Hill got in.
I didn't know either. I can't wait till we get control of the board so we can cut your feed off at will. I'm telling you, that's the first thing.
If I can do anything,
be like, man, Shawn is at a naval base in Honolulu, and
I'm just saying, I'm just here to help.
You're a Duke guy, Coop, so that's good news for you, I'm sure.
Good news, great news.
No, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel good.
Rose trajectory, he was on his way to be first ballot. Based on what we saw early before the injury. And it's sad because he was one of the most explosive players that we've seen. This guy was carrying Chicago on his back. And I really believe if he did not get injured in that series against the Heatles, when they had D-Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh, they had a shot at beating those guys.
Absolutely. They had the best record in the league that year.
He was on fire that year. And I think that year was going to be his year. If he would have went all the way and eventually get to the finals or get to win the championship, I think that would have changed a little bit. He would have got into the Hall of Fame. The NBA is a little bit. The NBA might be the only sport that has that leniency when it comes to Hall of Fame. I still don't think he gets in. I would be very surprised if he gets in because you think about in a vacuum, he was one of the best. But like you said, Coop, with T-Mac, he was like that with T-Mac. Even Penny Hardaway was a beast, until he got injured.
Weber didn't even get in because of injuries and stuff. Weber's not in.
Right. Well, you see, here's the thing, real quick, not to cut you off, Shawn. When you're talking about Grant Hill getting in with this thing, 2-time national champion, ACC Freshman of the Year, ACC Player of the Year, National Player of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Like at one point, he was the first ACC player to have like over 1,500 points, 700 rebounds, 500 assists, 200 steals. You get what I'm saying? Like he had accolades, and then he had NBA accolades very early in his career. D Rose didn't win no championship.
No.
Yeah,
he did.
Penny didn't win a championship.
That's that.
Weber didn't win a championship. Those things like matter when they're factoring into the Hall of Fame when it comes to Naismith.
Penny was a nominee, but he didn't get in. He was a nominee, so they may or may not. He had a great 5-6 years where he was considered one of the top point guards in the league during the Jordan era.
He could still get in because he has a coaching career, so it's still a possibility.
He's top. He was on a trajectory to be a top 10 point guard all time, and that's saying a lot because
easily.
Oh my goodness, his skill set was crazy.
like if we're just talking about his skill set, if he stays healthy, he's going to end up being higher than Steve Nash, Gary Payton, probably even Jason Kidd. You know, like he's going to be like in Magic, Isaiah, Steph like territory. You know what I'm saying? Like he was that type of star. Yeah, he'd be top 5-ish if he stayed healthy and like won some championships and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, finally, some good fucking news. Finally, the Grandmaster Awards, gentlemen. 2 days, October 5th. Award recipients: Grandmaster Caz, Roxanne Shante, Cool Mo D. Tell me something fly about the recipients. Tell me what you think about this list. Oh, don't do that.
I love
Don't
I
show
love
tears.
it.
Don't show
I
tears.
know. I know.
Don't do
I know. I know.
This is what I'm talking about. Controlling the boards. This is what I'm talking about. Controlling the boards. I'm definitely writing a long letter to human resources in the morning. This is ridiculous.
Derrick Rose, I hope he doesn't get up on stage and start doing all the pop blocking stuff, man. Like,
what if he comes out with like a Jerry curl wig on? We can't trust this nigga.
Goodness gracious, you can't trust him up on the stage doing pop blocking and like making his pecs jump and stuff. Pause. Nah, man. I'm excited for Cool Mo D to get this shine. Of course, Roxanne Shante, Queens get the money, and of course, Grandmaster Caz, all very well respected, very legends of hip hop for their own respective reasons. Roxanne being one of the first females out there battle rapping at the age of 14, 15, and giving it to dudes. Cool Mo D, we know what he is. How You Like Me Now. All of that stuff, man. Grandmaster Caz, one of the founding fathers. I wish it got more press. I wish it got more, more notifications and more notice that this was happening. Because this is something great that Nas has been doing, right? This is the second one. And no one is talking about it in hip hop media, but we're talking about it here in Hip Hop Talks. No one is saying that what these legends are getting honored this weekend. There was no roll up to it. No one is talking about it on a major press run, but we're talking about it here. So I'm grateful for that as well. But shout out to those legends, man. And shout out to Nas. Straight up.
Or
AG?
yeah, I love the lineup, man. For various reasons. Shante, she's one of the first dope female MCs, like Shawn said, battling, just giving the business, man. Like, and her and Nas have a great relationship, so it's dope to see her nominated. Cool Mo D is one of the first early, lyricists that was really put lyrics to the forefront, of the art, and it's good to see him get in. But the one that I'm most happy about is Caz, man. Like, when we're talking about the legends in rap, Caz is probably one of the most unsung hip hop artists ever, because a lot of people studied under Caz. And I'm just happy to see him finally get his flowers. Like that, honor him as an honoree meant the most to me out of those three.
No doubt. No doubt.
I'm really happy for all three. I actually got a chance of the three. The only one I've seen live is actually Cool Mo D. Saw him live a few years ago down here in Mableton with Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, and Rakim. And he was the first one to come on, and he gave a great performance. And then I realized, like, for the first time, how important he was to this culture, because essentially, he was the opening act, but in a lot of ways, he was the guy that inspired those three guys that were coming on after him. And so shout out to Caz, shout out to Roxanne Shante, shout out to Cool Mo D. I love what Nas and the people involved with this are doing. We need to, just quite frankly, support Black business more, because this is like good for our community, like our hip hop community. Like, there are things being set up. It's funny, like a few years ago on a podcast far away, I brought up like hip hop actually needing to unionize itself. And people was like, yo, don't talk like that. They will truly like shut this shit down if you talk like that. But no, like, we are in that place, in that phase where we need to start doing things like these award shows and stuff for our legends, thinking about ways to take care of our legends, endowments, funds, grants, hip hop schools, like all these things are like, these are realities. This is part of the growth and development. And we're the ones that need to be in the support of it, like, digitally and the brick and mortar aspect of it and in all the things. We're going to get to some super chats and slide to the next subject. Somebody told me that's the Ohio side of your family that says slide into the shit. They was watching the show last week. CJ the Kid with the $5 super chat. Hopefully we could tackle that Illmatic of R&B and find what is the undisputed best R&B album of all time, like Illmatic is to hip hop. CJ, I would tell you a lot of people would even tell you that Illmatic isn't their number one rap album. A lot of people feel like The Chronic, It Takes a Nation of Millions, Doggy Style, The Purple Tape, Aquemini, Paid in Full, different strokes for different folks, CJ. Our man with the 199 super chat, peace. Where do y'all rank Brown Sugar and Voodoo? I rank Brown Sugar much higher than Voodoo. I think Brown Sugar is 12 play like in terms of like its brevity, but a breath of greatness in it, but it's not as impactful. It's more of a genre shifting album. And I have it pretty high. I don't have Voodoo as high. Voodoo is inconsistent, but it has some very, very high moments.
Agreed.
Mad Max with the $9.99 super chat. D Rose was next up for me after Kobe. And Brandon Roy up in Portland. Him retiring broke my heart. And he going to the hall of Bill Walton and Divac, and Hill are in the hall. Rose can get in. I meant T-Mac in. Okay, T-Mac, right. Mad Max 199 super chat. Rose is greater than Pippen with some shaky. Sorry, Grant. No, just Mad Max, stop talking. Mad Max, stop talking. Oh, more from Mad Max in a moment. 007 with the 199 super chat. Newsflash: Knicks got Cat. We coming out the East. You better be coming out the East. We gonna talk about that. You better be coming out the East with that roster. Better be coming out the East with that roster. I want to hear some Queens get the money from you and 007 this year, Shawn, when the Knicks play basketball. I don't want to hear no excuses this year. It's time to end droughts in the Big Apple. Mad Max with the 199 super chat. Unfortunately, laugh out loud. D Rose did more than T-Mac. T-Mac never saw round two. That is so disrespectful. T-Mac had a better career than Derrick Rose outside of the MVP awards. Tracy G with the $5 super chat. Glad I was able to take my son to D Rose's MVP year against D Howard, Rashard Lewis Magic. Rose was a beast. Yeah, he was. That year is one of the best years that you'll find as far as NBA players are concerned. But unfortunately,
I think instead of the Hall, one thing we should focus on is if he gets his jersey retired in Chicago. I think that would be a more realistic goal.
That should happen.
Yeah, and he can firmly say that he's the third best player ever in that franchise. I won't put him over Pippen. Mad Max, that's crazy, but he can firmly say he's the third best player ever for that franchise. So,
is it third best?
Third best.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. What you gonna do? You gonna bring up like Jerry Sloan, the like ball player Jerry Sloan?
Nah, I'll let that rock for now.
Okay.
I will allow it for now.
Okay.
I thought Shawn was going to tell us that he was on the roster and he's the third best. Like, that's how he be doing.
Right. He's like, there was that time that I didn't sleep for 14 days, and then I pulled up to this game in Italy and I dropped 35 in 2 quarters and I left.
Paul Buckner dude right here, man.
Okay. So, fellas, Future has just become the first artist to have 3 #1 albums in 1 calendar year. Wale says Future is top 10 for his generation. I say that's crazy. He's much higher than top 10 for his generation. We have spent a lot of time, fellas, talking about the big 3. Quote unquote, Kendrick, Drake, and Cole. I've been telling you all this whole time. I was like, this might be more of a 4 horsemen than 3 the hard way type of situation. And that Future has been around the entirety of the time. that all of these guys have had their careers and their peaks and their valleys and all that, and he's been here the entirety of the time, and he still remains because he remains with 3 #1 albums this year.
Yeah.
Do we have our big 3 wrong? Do we have our big 3 wrong?
No. Short answer, no. Short answer, no.
I agree with Shawn.
Yeah. The big 3 is who they are. Future might be in that second tier in comparison to the big 3, because I'm talking about quality, not quantity, not viral moments. I'm talking about quality, and I appreciate Future more now than I did before, because of the fact that, I mean, hell, he's putting out good music right now. Is it great or stellar music? No, it's a vibe. And I think in this era of hip hop, we search for more of a vibe than we search for classic music, because we're quick to call something classic because we vibe into it. And I think that what Future has done was created a vibe in his 3 album run that he's done so far this year. I don't think any of it's classic material. I think the first one maybe tap dance a little bit on great, but not classic. But it's a vibe. It's a good vibration. The things that he's saying, he's not saying anything new under the sun. This is who Future has been for the past, 15 years. There's no range, but he is good at what he do. If you're good at shooting the MIDI, and that's all you got in your repertoire, keep shooting the MIDI. And that's what he's doing. He's shooting a bunch of MIDIs, no 3 points, no dunks, just MIDIs all day long. Respect the Future, though.
Go, AG.
Real quick, I agree with everything Shawn said, but for different reasons. The reason why I think that the big 3 remains intact like it is, and Future would be, 4 or what have you, is because Future is not a traditional MC in the sense of the word, you know what I mean, or a traditional rapper. Like, we look at Cole for the lyricist that he is. We look at Kendrick for the lyricist he is. Drake's not traditional either, but when it's time for him to bar up, he bars up, and Future is more on the outside of that, and kind of like Shawn was saying, it's more vibe music. So when we're talking about the big 3 as far as like rappers, then I think he's on the outside kind of looking in at that. But all that to the side, if we're not talking rappers, if we're just talking artists, I mean, like, to me, I think he's artist of the year. Now, of course, you got to factor in what Kendrick did in the battle. That's major. But I mean, this is nothing to sneeze at. Like 3 albums in the same year and all of them go #1. I mean, that's heavy. That's heavy. So, just on the artist side of things, like Future might be the artist of the year. If not, he's a very close runner up. And the only reason why Kendrick gets it is because of all the fanfare around the battle.
So, a couple things. First of all, you're not winning no damn artist of the year without an album. It's October. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. You're not winning no artist of the year without no damn album. Doesn't have an album. Doesn't have an album. It's ridiculous.
I'm with you.
Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Man, I don't know, AG. You might be running covert operations for the Kendrick camp.
I think so too. I won't say anything, but I think so too.
Hey man, I got on a cold shirt, so I ain't running no operations for Kendrick.
Yeah.
All right. What I would tell both of you is that it's conversational.
Mm-hmm.
He's done enough. So he's not, first of all 4 of these niggas be doing some sing-songy, scatting ass stuff that's not quite traditional rap.
True.
All of them. Kendrick, Drake, Cole, definitely Future. Now, they may not be mumbling like Future mumbles on some shit.
Yeah.
But them 3 some old singing and talking in different tone and voices and doing some, yeah. They all
That's
do
product
that.
of the era.
Part of the era. Like, thank Kanye for making 808s and Heartbreaks. Album's not any good, and neither is most of the time when niggas do shit like this. But anyway, he has the hits, though, guys. He's got the hits. He's got the hooks. He's got the numbers. He's got the #1 albums. He's got the influence. The sound that exists down here today, still to this day. Oh no, he's still the poster child of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's still the poster child of that. Thug had it being conversational. You know what I'm saying? But we all know what's happened with that, and it's like no, like I told you, like my cousin Mark Jr., like his dad is the one that put me on the hip hop. Like you know what I'm saying? Like Slick Rick was his goat. Like his son's goat is Future. He's raised down here in Atlanta, Georgia. Future's influence is like that, where people, when Wale is saying this, is like, oh no, they think he's top 10. It's like, no, there are niggas down here that think he is the greatest. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're looking at like where he places for his era, it's like, no, he has a conversational argument with anybody until you get to the actual lyrics part of it, is what I would tell you. Like if we were making a criteria list, he would actually beat Drake and Kendrick and Cole at a lot of stuff, but of the rapping variety, you would say that he would lose some of those things. You know what I'm saying? Like he would lose storytelling. You know what I'm saying? He would lose, you know, lyrical, you know, ability. You know what I'm saying? Like he would lose
Right.
he would lose that stuff, but it's like he wouldn't be losing like a lot of the other stuff to him. It's like who got a better flow than Future of those three guys? Like truly.
I think Cole is still better.
I would say Cole and Drake.
Yeah, I think Cole and Drake
have a better flow than Future?
Yeah.
I think so. I
I don't know, man. Future finds pockets on beats, and it's not hard. It's hard to catch some of the pockets that he catches
because it's more melody. It's more melody driven,
and it's vibe.
Drake. You're talking about Future being melody driven, but you said Drake has a better flow. Drake's not melody driven.
No, he's melody driven. But when Drake is rapping versus Future rapping, I still think Drake has a better flow.
Yeah. I can't remember anything Future says. Like I can't go back and say this is.
Shawn gonna make it disrespectful.
No, I'm not being disrespectful. I mean that by saying like can you recite a Future verse?
No, not me.
So now, how am I being? I'm just saying you can't recite a Future verse. You don't go back and say, "Whoa, Future did this." Even melodic, you can't say, "Oh, he did this melodically," right? You can say that for Drake. You can say that for Kendrick. You can say that for Cole.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in a lot of ways, for me, I look at him in terms of Southern standards and aesthetics the way I look like Cameron for the East Coast. You know, like he's the
You want to explain that a little more?
Yeah, like not your quote unquote most like traditional lyricist, even for his region and for his era. But if you look at everything else that he did in terms of quality of songs, dope albums, impact on the culture, impact on the city, impact on the movement, impact on hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Doing numbers, like
interesting. I'm rolling. That's an interesting comparison, but
Future numbers wise is like way beyond Cam. No disrespect to Cam, like Future's in that Drake, Eminem like stratosphere. Damn, like when we're talking about numbers, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like he's like somewhere like on some other playing field. Like no, he's on that playing field with them. Like as far as numbers are concerned, for most of his career, I feel like he's done numbers that are better than even like Cole and Kendrick. I would have to check to be sure, but it's like I know it's comparable. He's doing,
they're all comparable.
Yeah. So it's a conversation, is what I would say.
I like the comparison to Cam, though. I never really, when you broke it down, though. I'll roll with that.
Like when you look at Cam, nobody looks at Cam as a Nas, J, or Big, and he's not really even looked at like a 50, a Ray, or a Ghost, or a Jada Kiss. But if you look at like what he does and how he did it and how he made it work, it's like it'd be the same thing down here. It's like, well, he's not Andre Big Boy or CeeLo on the mic. You know what I'm saying? And he's not T.I. or Ludacris. You know what I'm saying? But if you actually look at what he did, he deserves to be like hovering around, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the impact is major, with Future, just as it was with Cam. And one of my closest homies, his favorite rapper, he acknowledges he's not the best rapper of all time, but his favorite rapper of all time is Cam because of the impact and stylistically what he brought to the game that other rappers wasn't bringing. And to your point, Future brings something stylistically that Drake, Kendrick, or Cole doesn't bring. So I'm rolling with your analogy.
Dig it. Let's slide to the next conversational piece, which is with Future having these 3 #1 albums and a producer by the name of Metro Boomin obviously being heavily involved. People are asking, is Metro Boomin the best hip hop producer today?
I don't think so. I would put him third.
AJ, go ahead. Tell me your rationale. Give me your thesis.
Metro, he comes with the hits, and I acknowledge that. But just for me personally, the aesthetic I look for, I would rank Hit Boy first for all the range that he shows. He doesn't have the hits that Metro has, but the range that Hit Boy displays. I think Hit Boy, even on one of the verses that he had with him in the song, I believe it was with him and Alchemist, he was like talking about like, yo, I never heard Metro do boom bap or whatever, you know what I'm saying, where he was talking about other producers. So I think Hit Boy has a little bit more range, so I'll put him first. Currently, Alk, I would put second right now. I rank Alk higher than Hit Boy all time, but currently I'll put him second to Hit Boy. Alk is just killing the game right now, and he's been in the game for 20 plus 25 years or more. And Metro, I put in a close third to them. But I mean, it's not it's narrow margin between each placement.
Shawn?
I agree, and I keep mine very short. Metro, grandioso sound, right? And I think that sound is loud, but when I think about who I prefer, who I think is doing it better, more range, I would go with Al and Hit Boy. Straight up.
I'm going to echo you all sentiments for the most part, but I want to offer it with a twist. I think in terms of actually, like, I often, here's another analogy I make, AG. Let's see if you latch onto this one as well. I look at Metro in a lot of the ways that I look at Jay Dilla as a producer. Well, if you're just talking about a beat, there's nobody better to get a beat from. But producing goes beyond the beat.
Yeah.
And so what I will tell you is that, he's the best beat maker, but he's not the best producer because he doesn't have that project. And usually most of the guys that we have, like tops in their era, usually have 1 or 2 or 3 projects that are reflective of their production status in totality, not just the beat making.
Can I ask you something with that analogy, though?
Yeah.
Do you think that that's because of the artists that he chooses to collaborate with the most? You got your Futures, you got your 21s. They may not have that capability to make Stone Cold classics, whereas Alk and a Hit Boy are spreading their sound among more rappers that are of that ilk to make classic material.
No, absolutely, because Hit Boy wasn't in this conversation until these Nas projects, and it's not because I think Nas is the greatest MC of all time. It's because he didn't have the rap projects that reflected placing him in the conversation as a producer.
Mm-hmm.
When we think about our greatest producers, we're talking about the owners of some of the best moments that we've experienced in rap. The reason that I have Dr. Dre at #1 is because, quite frankly, before 1995, he made Straight Outta Compton, Niggas for Life, The Chronic, and Doggy Style. It's before 1995. Before 1995, he did all of that. And that's not even like digging totally into everything. That's not the Above the Law album. That's not the Above the Rim soundtrack. That's not the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. The Friday soundtrack. He did didn't Keep Their Heads Ringing on the Friday soundtrack.
Easy solo joint.
Yeah, Easy does it. The DLC's No One Can Do It Better.
Like,
it's before 95. Like, Like, so when we talk about Dr. Dre, even for as great as his beat making does, don't you all notice how we always go to his albums? When we talk about Preem, we talk about Moment of Truth. We talk about Step Into the Arena. When when we talk about Kanye, we talk about, as a producer, we talk about his contributions to the Blueprint. We talk about B. We talk about Daytona. On an artist level, we talk about his first run of albums: Graduation, Late Registration, College Dropout.
Mm-hmm.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like when we talk about them as producers, we talk about the albums that they have created. And what I'm saying is that, well, the only reason that he's not in the lead is because he hasn't even made one album yet, I think, that reflects the high level quality of beats that he actually makes. Because if I wanted a beat, he would be the guy I go to. But if I wanted an album, I would take his beats and have Hit put it together for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to your point, and I don't want to get Shawn started on this rant again, but to your point, Metro doesn't have a body of work even on the level of Alfredo, to me.
Yeah, he doesn't have an Alfredo. No.
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, and that is part of it. So, you know what I mean? But we'll see what he do with it. He's got time. It's not like, you know what I mean? Still a relatively young man. It's not going anywhere. The game is different now, you know what I'm saying? Our rap, we're literally listening to the dudes we listened to in our teenage years. They're still making albums and projects. That was unheard of when we were kids. So,
right.
Yeah, so hip hop's in a different space, in a good space. And Nicki apparently is in a good space too, because she has recently announced that she is no longer with Young Money. Like, is this news at all, fellas? Is Nicki not being with Young Money news? Because this is one of those things I kind of assumed that it already kind of happened, like, anyway. It just wasn't like any official.
Yeah, I thought this was, I think, years ago.
Yeah, I feel like this has happened a long time ago, and, like, you know, it's just now getting announced, I guess, because, you know, no such thing as bad publicity, like 50 said.
Yeah.
Shawn, what you think?
I think the biggest piece of that was that she's with Republic now, and they are in the final stages of finalizing that deal, because she's not with Young Money or Cash Money anymore. So now she's going to be with Republic. I think that's the bigger news. That's the attachment to it. Her not being with Cash Money and Young Money is pretty much like just that's the end of that era, if you will. And now it's entering into a new era for her as an artist with Republic, which is a bigger situation than anything else. Yeah, it probably happened years ago, guys, maybe a couple months ago, but now she's feeling more comfortable talking about it because they're close to the end of that deal, or actually finalizing that deal with Republic. So that's why she's talking about it now.
AG?
Two takeaways, real quick. Like Shawn said, this is the end of an era. Just looking back on everything, I don't think it's, and Coop, you might have said this on another show. I don't think it's been any collective or label as successful as Young Money, Cash Money, as far as their flagship artists, with the superstars that Nicki and Drake became after Wayne was already, one of the brightest superstars that we've seen. I can't think of anything that comes close from, Rockefeller to, you just had Jay as a superstar, Rough Riders, X, Murder Inc., Ja Rule, and Ashanti. But the only thing I can think of is Bad Boy with Big Puff and Mace. And that was within a short, condensed, like 2-year time span where, they were larger than life superstars. So it's the end of an era, and that's kind of sad to see. But it's a new chapter for Nicki going forward. Wish her the best. But I was talking to one of my homies the other day, and he brought up a good point. He said nothing would smash the game now in the current state, with Drake losing the battle, Wayne getting not getting his due to do the Super Bowl, and Nicki kind of transitioning. Nothing would smash the game now like a Young Money, Cash Money compilation album with the three of them. Just 10 bangers, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Seeing Green, like that level joint. That'll smash the game right now, but that's just speaking of hypothetics. I know that won't happen, but it would be dope to see.
So, very briefly, I would tell you that as far as dynamic trios are concerned, there was that brief moment of time, and it's funny. I'm about to mention Dr. Dre Tice. Well, there is Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and Eazy-E, and there was also that brief moment of time of Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac.
Correct. Yeah.
So, you know, albeit for about a year or album or very brief material, I would tell you that there have been comparable moments of having three like megastars like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like in the same room representing the same crew. In that sense, I think we haven't seen anything like it in the modern era. Um, I think it's kind of ironic. They've all gone through rough patches a little bit this year for various reasons. And so I think one of the topics that we're actually going to get to in the next segment, it would be a good way of actually like, flexing some muscle respectfully. But I think this is just, business and politics as usual. You know what I'm saying? Like really, like people grow, people have their own teams, people have their own visions, people have their own dream, people want their own slices of pie, people fulfill contractual obligations and they move on. So we're going to move on to the next subject. It seems that the old girl Bay didn't get no hay at this year's CMA. Beyonce went 0 for 17 at the CMAs, guys. Is this you know what? I'm not even going to say it. AG, what do you think is motivated by this? 0 for 17 for an icon, a superstar, a legend.
I mean, a lot of people didn't really accept, in the country music spirit, they didn't accept Beyonce making the album. You know what I mean? They didn't look at her. I put it this way: they didn't welcome her to the genre, so to speak. So I'm not really surprised by this, and I wasn't moved by, her merits on doing the album in the first place because, it came on the heels of getting snubbed and Taylor Swift winning everything. So it's like, I'm a shift and do the country and, and granted, she's dipping into different genres with the house and dance music with the Renaissance album and then, the country music. But I mean, I think that's just playing to the people for the sake of accolades. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can't speak to Beyonce if that's really in her heart that she wants to do, but to me, it just looked like a move. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna make y'all recognize me by tapping into y'all's genre of music. You know what I mean? And it don't surprise me that she's gonna come up empty-handed because she wasn't welcomed anyway. So,
Shawn, what do you think about Beyonce not being welcome to the hoedown when we welcome all these white rappers to the barbecue?
I'm not surprised, man. CMA's very guarded. And I don't think they accept her as a country artist because of the contemporary aesthetic of the album itself. It blends into two different arenas, and you can hear it. And I think some of them looked at it as a lot of like a gimmick, like how dare you come into my genre, and make a mockery of it. And I'm not saying that's what they're saying. I'm just saying that's part of the feel. I spent some time in Nashville, country music city, music city, right? And they don't play it down there. They don't play it downtown, in Nashville. And again, I think it goes back to just it blurs the line of if it's country music or if it's contemporary. There's two totally different entities. And I can't see them allowing her. I'm not surprised she didn't win it. Honestly, they were talking about it before it even happened that they weren't going to accept that. I'm not surprised by it at all.
I think that this is another classic case of the disparities that take place even in the music world with how much our music, rhythm and blues and hip hop, have been appropriated by our white counterparts. So let's say this album isn't good because it's not, but it's really not about that. It's about a level of appreciation and respect for a great artist. And it feels like the doors have been closed on her in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so It's just one of those things we just need to keep an eye on and be mindful. Like, yeah, still see it's 2024 because at the end of the day, it still got those vibes. I don't care if this black girl from Texas is the most famous thing in the world. We're not letting her in here. You know, it's got that type of vibe to it as well. And so it's just one of those things we need to be mindful of and pay attention to. I'm about to get to these super chats, and then we are going to move to our next segment that I can't wait to talk about. Mad Max 199. I said Pippin with some shake. Who is Grant Hill? First of all, you ever talk about Grant Hill like that again, Mad Max? I'm going to see you next time I come to NY. Andre Miller, the streaming era is disqualified from talking numbers. No, we can't do that. They just, they just don't know how to count. Mad Max with the $9.99 super chat. Big Three is a myth. It's Drake and then the rest. And Future is closer to Drake than Dot and Cole. I mean, who bumping Dot performance, art, play, raps, and Cole's my first piece of cookie, rhythm and blues song. Yo, Mad Max is wild. Mad Max is wild. Shawn, are you and Mad Max related? Is this your cousin?
I don't even know, man. Let me go, Mad Max.
Okay. Mad Max once again with the $9.99 super chat. Thanks, Mad Max. LOL, if we being honest, based off impact and influence, Drake, Future, and probably Nicki, Lace, Dot, and Cole never influenced nobody. They just co-signed by Hove and Dre. Who Dot and Cole's sons? J.I.D. Mad Max is feeling disrespectful tonight. We got to keep Mad Max off the yak. All right.
I mean, as long as he's super chatting.
Yeah, Andre Miller with the $2 super chat. All CYMB artists are broke or slaves. Okay, Andre, tell us how you really feel, player. All right. Well, guess what we're about to do? We're about to potentially talk about some more former CMYMB artists because FIFA has decided that they are going to do a halftime show that actually rivals the Super Bowl halftime show. I think this is an extremely big deal, fellas, because FIFA has a global reach that, quite frankly, our Super Bowl doesn't even have. This is the global game. The two biggest stars, actually, for the better part of our adult lives, have actually been Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of actual worldwide notoriety. Those are football players.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about FIFA having a World Cup halftime show? And what do you think about the fact that it seems like Drake has already been easing his way into this conversation? Are we going to see a potential Drake, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj at the FIFA halftime show for a global audience?
I can't see it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't see it because if Drake gets it, that's going to be major by itself. And here's why. FIFA doesn't cater to what we think it should cater to, because there's an African artist out there that's selling massive records more than anybody that we have in America combined. There's another artist out there that's selling massive records that we don't know nothing about. We don't even know, we can't pronounce their name. And that's what their halftime show going to look like. They're going to go with someone that is massive across the pond, as opposed to taking someone, an American, and like a Lil Wayne or Nicki, and bring them on stage. If Drake gets it, he's putting his, I think he's trying to politic to get in there. But if Drake gets it, it would show what kind of draw he really has globally, honestly.
Well, Shawn,
it's not a short shot for him. Mm-hmm.
Next World Cup's being held in North America, though.
I know. That's what I'm saying. This will be
so
massive.
This would be the opportunity to make it a hip hop based format. Yeah. Think about it with Drake. Well, and if it's going to be Canada, the United States of America, and Mexico. Well, Drake and Nicki and Wayne give you 2 of the 3 continents in one collective already.
Yes.
So you got shit on lock performance wise. You can sprinkle in a little. You can pick, whoever the biggest Mexican artist is, like right now, and like maybe have them share the stage. But I mean, it's kind of aligning for it to happen. Drake's from Canada. Wayne from New Orleans, Nicki is from Queens. Get the money. It's like, man, you got Southern representation, you got East Coast representation.
But Coop, they don't care. That's a
Canadian representation.
That's a different demo. They don't care about those guys. Straight up, that's a different demo. They get Julio Chavez to come out there and do some songs.
And this is where we have to cut Shawn off again. So
I'm keeping it a buck. They got some Julio Chavez that come out there and go crazy, and people are fainting. You be like, "Who is this guy? He's killing it." I'm telling you.
Next time, don't keep it a buck. Keep it a quarter. AG, like,
yeah, I hear you, Shawn. But I hope Drake gets it, and if Drake does get it, that'll be major. It'll be a huge counter to what is Kendrick's Super Bowl halftime show. And for that reason, since Wayne got, snubbed, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that if Drake secures it, that he doesn't bring Wayne out there, for a short little set, because, the reverence that he has for Wayne, if Wayne, with the whole Super Bowl in New Orleans, him not getting to perform, I don't see any situation where Drake gets it and doesn't bring Wayne out. That's just me. But Drake has to secure it first. Right now, it looks like, it's lining up as such. But to your point, Shawn, it might be somebody we never heard of. But if Drake does get it, then that'll be a pretty good counter to Kendrick at the Super Bowl. And I'm here for it. You know what I mean? Because, the battle's still kind of going in a different arena. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of dope.
AG, what did, I'll let y'all take it from here. But what did old boy say on Django? Big Daddy at the White House, Big Daddy said, that's not what I said. It's like, yo, Django's a free man. Look, Drake, you can come. He be like, can Wayne come? No, that's not what I said. That's what it's going to be. I'm telling y'all.
You just took it somewhere else, but I feel you. I get what you're saying, but that's wild that you really just made that comparison. What you got, Coop?
I don't have anything. I don't even know how Django became part of this conversation.
I love that movie.
No, Django's a brilliant movie.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to kind of keep the conversation on Drake and on kind of like the Young Money family, because Drake has actually now passed Eminem in terms of all-time singles going diamond with 7. So Drake is now in the number 1 position for rap artists, passing Eminem. What does this mean? What does this represent? I think this is a pretty big deal too.
Drake is the numbers guy. I mean, that's what he's always been. I mean, it's business as usual for him, I think. So
break another record, cash another check.
Is it?
Yeah. Good. Glad we
have. But I mean, it says a lot to the person he's passing though.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to keep it pushing. More Drake talk. Mal says it's up between Drake and Cole. And I think when he's saying it's up, that means it's going down. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Well, it's been going down with everybody when it comes to Drake. What's new? Yeah,
Drake unfollowed a lot of people this past week. You know what I mean? He's cutting off some ties, but I think in the situation, Cole, I wouldn't say Cole clearly picked a side, but him being ambiguous in where his alliances lay, I think is enough for Drake to, kind of cut him off. You know what I mean? And Cole's the guy that don't want any problems with anybody, but he did the collab with A$AP Rocky, which they said was before the beef, but then it got released, but Cole still had to clear it. And, the joint with Daylight, so you got the TDE connection. So I think he's just being real ambiguous, and like, I'm Switzerland, I can, collab and move and maneuver and stand next to anybody. But when you petty like Drake is, you ain't gonna rock with that. So I think, for guys that were just on tour with each other last year, and I took my son to go see, and they were dapping each other up, hugging on stage, and doing all that. I think it's a totally different situation now after this battle.
You don't get to be Switzerland when you're fighting for your legacy.
Bingo.
Right.
Shawn, keep.
Cool, you said it. You riding a bike while I'm out here fighting. And
He always references the bike.
You're gonna stop the bike shit. The bike.
It's an electric bike. He's riding an electric bike while I'm out here fighting. And I'm gonna just leave it at that because Coop summed it up. What I was about to say. You can't be Switzerland when your legacy is on the line. You threw out a diss record and you retracted it immediately.
And I want to say something too. In hindsight, if he was going to step out of this, it's the way that he stepped out. You want to know what this is? Like him doing that is the equivalent to LeBron's The Decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of those where it's like,
Yes.
well, if you want to make that decision at the end of the day, that's fine. But the way that you made the decision and the public display that you chose to make the decision on, with the world essentially watching you.
Yeah.
No, nigga.
Yeah.
No.
You want to know what the nastiest part of that whole thing was? Remember, he was like, "How many of y'all Kendrick Lamar fans make some noise?" I was like, "What?"
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was the nastiest part of the whole thing.
Like
at his festival,
look, That's one of those things. That's one of those things I would prefer if he'd be a politician, because at least that you can say, well, somebody wrote that for me. It's like nobody wrote that for you. You said that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Stand on it.
Yeah. So, Drake has unfollowed a bunch of people like LeBron, Playboy Cardi, aforementioned Jermaine Cole. And speaking of Jermaine Cole, on this verse that is a verse of the year contender, and I think we have agreed that it might be the verse of the year thus far, he has said that he is the GOAT off of his features. Fellas, can somebody be the GOAT off their features?
No.
Shout out
Short
to all
answer, no.
3000 fans who think he's a top 5 MC with no albums. What about features?
Right. No.
I think this is the area where we recognize that we put too much stock in features, because when somebody hops on a track, does their thing for 16 bars, kills it, and we're raving about it, and they go on a run of these, it's cool, it's dope, but it doesn't put you in any kind of GOAT contention, because are we talking about your personal catalog like that when it's just you? You know what I mean? Where you're the main event. And I think with Cole, it's our fault because we put him in contention for that number one spot in the big three based off his feature run, because nobody was saying that, I got on an off-season shirt from the tour, but when the off-season album came out, we wasn't, putting Cole on that level. It was based on the features run. So I think some of this is our fault for putting features, putting too much stock in the features. And quite frankly, it's a lot of artists, not a lot, but maybe a handful of artists that I take their feature runs over Cole any day. Give me Method Man, give me Kiss, give me Wayne. You know what I mean? It's quite a few that I would take their feature catalog over Cole's in the verses.
I love that you made that point, because it actually was a piggyback question that I was actually going to ask. First of all, Shawn, let me get your thoughts on this, but then also let me ask both of you, once you get done, Shawn, is J. Cole the best guest appearance artist of his era, and where does he rank all time as a guest appearance artist?
Of his era, I would say he's up there. I don't know if he's the best, though. It's hard for me to say that.
Who's the better guest feature in this era? Last 10 years. Last 10 years.
Last 10 years?
Last 10 years, who's a better feature?
Damn, Coop put me on the spot.
Lil Baby got some joints.
Yeah, but he ain't cold.
He ain't cold though, but Lil Baby, he up there.
Because I look at it in waves.
Point. I think that's more like length of time. I would give Cole the edge just because of the length of time. Because I said,
right. I'm looking at it in waves, because remember when 2 Chainz, was having this feature run.
One of my favorite feature runs ever.
2 Chainz feature run to me is one of the best we've seen. He was smoking everybody. Everybody.
Great feature run.
On everyone. And the feature run topic is so weird because we've seen these things. We've seen Nas feature run. One of the most prolific feature runs you will ever find in the first
95.
95, 96, 97, 98. I mean, he was killing everything. Jay had a phenomenal feature run. I don't think Cole is in an exclusive category. He just having a great feature run. We've seen this happen so many. Kanye had a phenomenal feature run when he was doing his thing. 50 had a great feature run. The list goes on. The list goes on. Why we're not overstating them like we're overstating Cole?
Top 10 feature artists?
I got your answer to that question though, Shawn, but go ahead and answer Coop's question.
Maybe top 10. Maybe top 10.
Okay. Best of this era? Like, is he a better feature than a Drake or a Future?
But see, that's the thing, because we heard so many.
A Lil Baby.
For Drake. We can hate on Drake all we want, but Drake feature in the past 10 years changed the trajectory of an artist. Not the song, the artist, because he hopped on a feature with that artist.
Yeah. A song with Drake will change your life.
Change your life.
Right.
A song doesn't change your life.
The stimulus package. But to answer your question, Shawn, the reason why Cole's feature run is two reasons why it's held so high. Because the whole stigma about, oh, he went platinum with no features, Cole don't collab with nobody. So he made it a point to set out and blaze all these features, like, because I'm not a feature heavy artist. So hats off to him for even making that a point to do that. But here's the other point. His features are going to stand out more and people uplift them more, just like Coop was saying about 3000. There's no Andre 3000 album to like go to other than the Outkast stuff. So all you have to rest your laurels on is the features. With Cole, he has his solo catalog, but nobody puts his solo catalog up with the greats like that. You talked about Nas's feature run, Jay's feature run. You mentioned Kanye, you mentioned Eminem, but they all have solo catalogs that can that's some of the best we've ever seen. Cole doesn't have that. So if he's going to hang his hat on something, it's going to be the features. But it's up to us as the fans to say, you know what, that's not enough, if we're being honest.
Yep.
Great sentiments, guys. I think we're going to get into one of our new segments, which is the Discord dialogues.
Oh, yeah. Real quick.
I'm doing
go ahead.
To stay out of the Discord dialogues. Very, very ratchet people. Very, very ratchet people in Discord.
They are the best people. Shout out to Discord. We family. They're friends of the show.
Very fascinating bunch. Very fascinating. Niggas really feel now. Frightening some of the stuff that I read.
Yeah, friends of the show. But yeah, shout out to everybody in our Discord group, man. We wanted to come up with a segment that made it interactive for the fans and people that support us. Day ones that's been in our Discord, man. We chop it up on a daily basis, and we wanted y'all to have control over a segment, to have your stamp and have your input. So every week we're gonna, starting with next week, we're gonna highlight an artist, group, or producer that gets voted on in our Discord chat to talk about. It might not be somebody, we had a heavy news week this week, but it might be an artist that's an unsung artist that you want to hear talked about that's not in the current news cycle or whatever. So we take 10 nominees in our Discord, our first 10 nominees every week. My son Jordan, shout out to him, he puts them in a poll on the Discord, and we vote on it as a community. And then the artist or group or producer or whatever that wins that week, we'll talk about on the next Thursday night show, give them a little segment where they can get their flowers and stuff. So over on our Discord, the poll is up right now. I think it closes in another day or so. And then whoever wins that, we'll be talking about next week. We just wanted to make y'all have y'all's imprint on the show. You know what I mean? Because y'all matter, and we appreciate y'all.
I love it. I actually, and I'm not joking at all when I say this, I actually think the first thing we should do is do a poll on what people think R. Kelly's top 3 albums are in the Discord chat. Top 3 R. Kelly albums. Because all of you ratchets, and Shawn, you're the leader of the ratchets. I watch the things that you say in there. It's almost like how like a book is more explicit than the movie. It's like you're even more explicit and worse on Discord than you are in person. Almost like it's like, oh, this is this is nasty work, writer Shawn at work. This is
Yo, this is
horrible and frightening.
Yo, AG
to impressionable mind. Speaking of AG, we're also about to start a new segment where you're going to start sharing some of the things from your extensive vinyl collection, sir. Do you have anything that you would like to share?
Yeah. I appreciate it. Like, today, I'm saying, a little show and tell joint. Just giving Wu some love. This is the vinyl segment. Got this 7-inch box set, if y'all can see that. It's 36 chambers, but it's a limited edition box set that all the vinyls are on 7-inch vinyl, A side and B side. It comes with, a lot of things in the collection items. You got this on the inside of the box. Wu-Tang ain't nothing to F with, so it's dope. It also comes with, I'm a card collector. I used to collect baseball cards. Got some Pete Rose joints in the collection, you know what I'm saying? But it comes with a lot of 36 chambers, behind the scenes photos, if y'all can see that. Just different cards. Danny Hastings is who shot the art for the cover of 36 chambers. So the joints, the pictures that didn't make it to the actual album, they put that in the vinyl box set. And here are some of the, you know what I'm saying, it got the yellow A side, B side, you know what I'm saying? It's in the order of the album, you know what I'm saying? But it's like 7 different 7-inch vinyl. So, it's just going to be showing a little bit. We got some vinyl collectors out there, so we wanted to like show them some love and, show what's in the collection. It comes with a commemorative book, that talks about the making of the album. So it's pretty dope.
Tell me where you found this, AG.
Got that on the website Get On Down. They dope for selling dope vinyls and collectibles. It's sold out as of right now, but it's a dope little piece that you probably can find it on the secondary market marked up. But that's a special edition thing. But I do got the classic, basic vinyl. You know what I'm saying, 36 chambers right here, the 12-inch. So I wanted to show Wu-Tang some love. They're currently doing their residency in Vegas. And we're going to continue that Wu-Tang love going. Shawn got a segment he want to talk about. So I'll pass it to him to segue.
This ain't quantifiable facts, is it? We're not sneaking in any quantifiable facts. So. Our itinerary better be right. There's no quantifiable facts.
No, man.
Better be talking sneaker shit. We're not talking sneaker shit. I promise I will pull up out this motherfucker.
No quantifiable facts, man. No quantifiable facts.
I mean, AG, and don't try to be quiet about it and put it off on Shawn. You're a sneakerhead too. You just don't have it like lined up behind behind you right now. You're a sneakerhead too. So let's slide to some sneaker games, Shawn. What you got for us?
So our Discord group and those that rock with us, they enjoyed the last time we talked about a little bit of the fashion world. One of the things I wanted to highlight was the actual release of the Wu-Tang Dunks that's coming out, I think Saturday. RZA posted some things out there with regards to just the hype for the shoe itself. I'm looking forward to this dunk. I've always wanted the Wu joints. I actually have a pair of the Pollens, and I wish they had the Wu sign. You guys can see it had the Wu sign on the side, but they don't have it. I wish they had it. But these joints are butter. But the Dunks are coming out this Saturday.
Did you just sniff your shoe?
That's what we do. That's what sneakerheads do. That brand new shoe smell.
Brand new shoe smell.
It's like air freshener in the car, bro.
Like air freshener, man. It's like it's intoxicating. I'm not gonna front.
Get help.
But these joints, I wish they did it with these. I had the Wu sign on these as opposed to the Dunks. I like Dunks, I like low top Dunks. But RZA actually did he did something at the residency last week where he actually sent notes to loyal fans through Spotify to get access to the shoes. And I'm not a Spotify user that much. Shout out to Spotify because they do play our joints on their platform. But unfortunately I missed it. AG also missed it as well, but they come out on Saturday. Hoping I can.
What are these Wu Wear Air Dunks running for?
I think 170.
They're 150 retail. On the secondary market, you can get a pair now for about, depending on your size, anywhere to like 400 to about 450.
Yeah.
But the original ones that came out like 14 years ago, they were super limited. And they go for about 10 grand, like 10 stacks.
Yeah.
But to your point, Shawn, I tried to because I think I hit you up the next day because I was doing something on my daughter's phone. I had just bought my daughter the iPhone 16 and her Spotify wasn't working. And I was in my email trying to reset her password and looked at my email and I got the notification. But by the time I checked my email, it was an hour after the shoes had dropped and I got the Spotify link to buy them through Spotify. So I was tight. I missed out on them. But at any rate, I looked to cop those. You know what I'm saying? Before Shawn gets to the next shoe joint, show what I got on feet today. Is that cool with you, Shawn?
Yeah.
So I got on feet, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to the one and only Virgil Abloh. Got on the off-white Jordan 2s. You know what I'm saying? Beaverton. I don't know if y'all can see those real good, but shout out to Virgil, man. Like, rest in peace, man. Virgil got some of the best sneakers and clothes in the game. You know what I'm saying? So what else you got, Shawn?
My last one, Biggie Timbs. Timberland's coming back out with the Biggie joints. I won't be copying these, I'm not gonna lie. I'm done with Timbs for the rest of my life. I got too many Timbs. Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
I wore Timbs playing basketball, so I'm not doing that again.
You was that guy that wore Timbs with shorts, wasn't you? Yeah. I can see it.
Yeah, sorry, Coop. But I'm not wearing Timbs anymore. But the Biggie Timbs are coming out too. I don't wear Timbs anymore. I'm not gonna lie. I'm too old for Timbs now. But they dope.
I know I was disappointed in these, bro. I don't think the Ready to Die branding was as much as they should have been. They hit us with the tag, and then you know what I'm saying, the baby on the tongue, and then the, you know what I'm saying, on the leather part on the upper on the ankle collar, they had BIG on there. And I don't know. They're just regular basic Timbs with a little bit of extra sauce on them to me.
Quick question before we get out of here. Shawn, since you're no longer a Timberland wearer rocker, what do you wear now in a boot? For all the sneaker heads out there.
Wallabies, man. Wallabies.
AG?
Wallabies be the apparel.
No.
Oh, what do I wear?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's J's, like Air Max, stuff like that every day, man. And my feet be dying at work. It be killing me, man. I'm getting old, but I refuse to give it up and wear the, like, you know what I'm saying, the Hokas and New Balance and all them joints. Nah, I'm gonna stay fly, man. I can't do it. But my feet be screaming at work, bro.
Do you wear any boots? No boots?
Timbs. I'm not too old for Timbs.
Okay. First of all, you're both older than me. Both you niggas are old. It was my birthday and you niggas are still older than me. Just like to remind you that as we end the show. We're gonna get to a couple super chats and then we're gonna get out of here.
Oh, we gotta do the press play joint before we go out real quick though. Cool.
We can
Yeah. No. I know we're gonna do press play. I just want to get to the super chats and then we can get the press play and I can put you niggas on pause. Mad Max with 199 super chat means we got a block, man, selling the most in hip hop again. Here, see, you can't trust Mad Max. See, now the talk is getting incoherent again. Told you we got to get them on the yak. Channel your inner Pac and 50 and Drake, FJ Cole, pause. Mad Max with another 199 super chat. No Mad Max, pause on that yak. Pause. Just put the bottle down. Come to the light that is Hip Hop Talks. Mad Max again, 199. Drake, easily a better feature artist than Cole. I don't know if it's easily, but if you told me Drake, yeah. 199 with Mad Max again. Drake made Block Boy. JB have a run with Look Alive. And that's all we got for the super chats. Shawn, I'm going to pass it over to you for press play.
Yes, sir.
Started off with what you got in your tape deck this.
Yeah, we'll just run through them real quick. For me, let me pull it up real quick. So my tape deck this week, I kept it very, very simple. Kicked it off with my eyes burning. Never Let You Down. Love this joint. This is one of the joints I felt like Jay left Earth on. I love Jay's verse on here. Kanye killed this. This is one of my joints. I loved it. We Major. Nas killed it. Straight up. This is the joint I always felt that this was the bridge to heal everything between Nas and Jay. Love it. Don't Get Carried Away, featuring Nas and Busta. I felt like Nas killed this one as well. Had this on my tape deck all week. Also had played some old Kendrick, the Ronald Reagan era. Had RZA as a feature on here, on the hook, saying his little piece on there. But I love this joint. I thought this was one of Kendrick's best joints back during that Section 80 era.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back to the vintage Cole, Lights Please. Always loved this song. Always thought Lights Please was one of those ones for Cole. This one I thought that Cole was the next one up.
What?
Off of Lights Please.
You picking Lights Please?
Yeah,
I say Nigga Please.
Lights Please is tough.
Love Lights Please.
No, I say Nigga Please to Shawn. He's been clowning J. Cole all year. Come on, Lights.
That is true.
So how about
that
Nigga
is true.
Nigga Please? How about that?
Yeah, enjoy it, man. I love this one too, man. This is one of my go-tos right here, man. With DMX, him, Jadakiss, and Styles, dissing Ja Rule. Didn't know he was dissing Ja Rule in live time. I just vibed to the song, man. But I love this joint. And my last one, Triplets, Don Cartagena album. I thought the Don Cartagena album was a very underrated album. Came out in '98. We did the hip hop bar seminar for Pun on one of his joints as well on the posse cut, John Blaze. But Triplets, they went crazy. The beat was crazy. Joe went crazy. Pun left Earth. Love that album. But that was in my tape deck all week, fellas.
Dope list.
AG, what's your list looking like?
All right, real quick. First joint I got, me and my homie was having a conversation on what Kanye's best song is, and we agreed that it's Can't Tell Me Nothing. I think it's the perfect song. Kanye was in his bag rapping. Ironically, he didn't produce the track, produced by Toomp. Toomp killed it from the Jeezy ad-libs, everything about it, the hook. It's just a perfect song all the way around, and I think it's Kanye's best work. Next, I got White Label by Nas, produced by Kanye. Reason why I've been listening to this, Shawn put in our Discord group, it was footage of Kanye producing this in the studio, producing the record. And the mixing is a little bit off, but it's still my favorite record off Nasir. I think this is a banger. Next joint I got is No Ideas Original. We talked about it last week. It was one of our bar seminars. And like Coop said last week, it's arguably Nas's best bar work on this album, and maybe, in contention for his career. I also got Pie from Might Delete Later. I went back and revisited this joint after the Plate of Collard Greens, and I think that J. Cole and Daylight got good chemistry on the tracks together. So, and shout out to Absol on here too. So I had to go back and revisit this, and there's a lot of bar work here. Next, I got Nowhere by Beanie Siegel and Freeway off the First State Property album. Oskino been in a lot of interviews lately, and that made me tap back into the old 2 State Property albums. And between the two albums, this was always my favorite song. Love this record. So been listening to that. Next, I got Love I'm Good by Joe Budden. I think the song doesn't get enough credit. I think it's one of the dopest concept songs ever. And me and the homie Trife, shout out to Trife, was talking about this album, All Love Lost, in the Discord, which I think is a 5 mic album. And that album was really special to me, got me through a tough time. But this is one of my favorite joints on the album. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. Joe was in his bag on that. And the last joint I got is Paris Morton Music. Me and my homie was having a discussion. He thinks this is Drake's best song of all time. And I wouldn't say that. I would say it's top 3 to 5, but I think it is one of the records that most encompasses him as an artist, as far as singing, and then what he did with the bar is like, if somebody said, play me a song that represents Drake, this probably be one of the first ones I go to. And he did his thing on here. Smoothed it out at the end of my playlist.
Dope playlist. Dope.
Nice playlist.
Thank you.
I'll leave it for Coop to diversify the portfolio and class things up a little bit. So, this is my birthday playlist too. So,
Ratchet, happy birthday.
Yeah.
It's your birthday.
Nobody asked you to do all that. Nobody asked you to do all that. All right. Give me my segment, please. What I'm pressing play on is this week is Take a Bow by Madonna. Take a Bow by Madonna is actually written by Babyface, and Babyface is actually doing the background vocals on Take a Bow. And they actually performed this song at the Grammy Awards, and it was a #1 hit for Madonna, and it comes off of Bedtime Stories, which I think is arguably her best album that she ever made. So I got Take a Bow, written by Babyface. On my birthday shit, every year around this time, I play certain songs over and over again. Everybody has a birthday song. My birthday song is Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Because, well, quite frankly, I made it through another year. So, staying alive.
Praise God.
No doubt.
All praises due. My birthday ritual, and I just want to tell a quick story about my birthday ritual. I know we're running behind and got to get out of here.
Nah, cook, bro.
Next, I have Taken in Blood off It Was Written, which I've literally been listening to every day on my birthday. It's been the first song that I play. But let me tell you how it actually happened. I actually wasn't a big fan of Taken in Blood when it was written first came out. Like, it wasn't like one of my top 5 songs I was listening to when it was written. I was listening to Live Nigga Rap, The Setup, Shootouts, I Gave You Power, and Silent Murder, and The Message more than I was Taken in Blood. And not saying that like I didn't think that the record was dope, but I really didn't realize what was going on. The night before my birthday, I ended up on the phone. I think it might have been with my cousin while Watch Them Niggas was playing. And as the song was about to go off, I remember remember he had the little radio that had the CD player at the top that you push the button to stop it. But if you hit pause on that motherfucker would stay paused forever as long as you kept it plugged up.
Yep.
So I hit pause while Watch Them Niggas was on, but I ended up talking on the phone so long and fell asleep. So when I actually woke up on my birthday and started getting ready, like for school, and I pressed play, Taking in Blood came on, like right after Watch Them Niggas faded out, and that was the first time that the song really like gripped me. Was like on my birthday where I was like, oh shit, I'm like, hold on, like he's fucking crazy on here, and that's why I play it every day on my birthday when I wake up. So quick story
That's
about
dope. That's when it clicked for you, right?
Yeah, no. My birthday is when it clicked for me. That's when it
That's
became
dope.
my favorite Nas records. Because think about it, this is October of '96, so the album had been out for a few months already.
Mhm.
Right.
So like my birthday, my 16th birthday is actually like when it clicked. I was like, oh shit, like damn. So yeah,
That's dope.
Taking It Blood by Nas, a little known record from the Re-Up gang, Stay From Round Me. Now this record actually doesn't have Pusha T or Malice rapping on it. This is actually Ab Liva and Sandman going back and forth. I think Ab and Sandman are grossly underrated as rappers, because if you think highly of Pusha and Malice, and I think most of us do as MCs, understand these guys were rapping right next to these guys at the level of these guys for years with no problem and no drop. So those guys are dope. Stay From Around Me. And I love that beat too. It's just like, the Re-Up gang stuff, it was like different for around the time. Like they were actually doing East Coast hip hop better than a lot of the East Coast guys were, like at the time, like most of them. Like if you were to hear like the aesthetics of a mixtape like this, you would think they were from New York, not Virginia. My next record is Slide. I'm a big Her fan. I think Her is my favorite R&B artist, male or female, of this era. And slide is a word that I obviously like use often when I talk about us sliding to the next topic. And when I was having the conversation with the friend that talked about me using the word slide, it actually made me think of this song and start playing this song. This is one of the best records off of her last project, and hopefully we'll be hearing more from her very, very soon. Next record is from one of my favorite rap albums of all time, which is Illadelph Half-Life from the Roots. This is Push Up Your Lighter with Bahamadia. This record is actually the first time I heard Bahamadia. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know anything about her, but this was the record that got me acquainted with Bahamadia, and I think it's a top 5 song from one of the least talked about great rap albums of all time. I think Illadelph Half-Life is one of those rap classics that kind of gets what I like to call some of that Hell Hath No Fury treatment, where it's like, well, people kind of like go to other pieces of their work that might have been like bigger and bolder, but I don't know necessarily better. I still think Illaduff Half-Life might be the Roots' best album. And its Black Thought's Coming Out Party has a top level MC too. The last one I actually have is somebody who, who we've been supporting, and that's I Am God with Wise Souls. This is still probably for me the best intro song to a rap album that I've heard this year. And so I've been putting the More Suede back in rotation, and Wise Souls is probably Wise Souls is my favorite record on More Suede, just for me personally. So that's my press play.
No doubt.
Dope list.
Yeah, appreciate it. We appreciate everybody for supporting Hip Hop Talks. Make sure y'all click like, subscribe, share to the page. We got some things in the works as far as merchandise. Make sure you're following us on Twitter. Make sure you're clicking like, share, and subscribe again on the YouTube page. Start following us on Facebook. Our TikTok is up and running. We're just building out the platform. We're just getting started and just getting our legs beneath us. AG, Shawn, you got any parting shots?
Okay, covers it.
Check us on Twitter. We do it every week. We close the show doing the our 7 playlist songs. We want you to do the same thing. So we're going to post the list tonight. We actually have the list right here of the songs that we actually selected for our playlist for the week. We will encourage you to do the same thing. So tag us on that on your playlist, or you can attach yourselves to the playlist we're going to put on our Twitter page, and engage with us as well in the Discord, on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. And once again, shout out to my man Coop. Happy birthday, Coop! Happy belated birthday. Turning big 4-3. Coop is younger than AG now, but he looks older than us. But it's all love, man. But shout out to Coop, man. I hope you have a great week, bro. Hope you have a phenomenal weekend. I know you had a good meal last night at Sizzler's, and get you a good steak. Coop had a hamburger steak. He didn't even had AG had a hamburger steak. He had the chop joint.
The Salisbury joint.
Yeah, Salisbury joint for his birthday. In a Colt 45. But no,
that's crazy.
It's a tall joint too. But
the petty level is absurd and disrespectful. Man, just wait. Oh man, we just gotta find this. Yeah, I'm definitely calling HR on you. I'm just right now. It's like, no, I want control of the board. We have to have the ability to mute this character if we're going to continue to get this ship rolling.
I'm just saying, man. You do it more than us though. But nah, man, it's all love, bro. Happy birthday, man. 43.
No, I appreciate it, man. No. Blessed to make another year. Blessed to be here. Everybody click like and subscribe to the tribe, and we go.
Peace out.